hand still on the door. The old floor bends a little where I stand. Coats hang loose on mismatched wooden chairs. Low voices gather, no one's singing yet. Someone looks up and shifts along the bench. An open space is waiting without question. No one asks me where I've been. The room makes space and I step in. There is a place among us. You don't have to hide the strain. You don't have to tell the whole story, or name every kind of pain. Come as the day has left you. Stand here and breathe it in. There is a place among us. It was yours before you walked in. A first note rises somewhere to my left. One voice worn rough by more than passing years. Another shakes, then settles into tune. Someone loses breath, then joins again. Still the sound grows fuller, voice by voice. So I lean in and let my own voice rise. A hand stays near when someone loses breath. A voice holds on until another returns. One chair moves back to open up the line, and what we carry changes as we sing. There is a place among us. I know because I'm standing here. And when the door moves late behind us, I'm the one who makes the space appear. Come as the day has left you. Stand here and breathe it in. There is a place among us. It was yours before you walked in. A place among us. The radiator ticks against the wall. I set my cup where all the paint has worn. My sleeve is dark with rain up to the wrist. He lifts his coat and moves it down the bench. A space the width of one more tired man. I sit and neither of us speaks at first. Two paper cups go cold between us, and no one reaches for the door. The coat beside mine, damp at the sleeve, says more than either of us us will. You do not have to make the day sound fine. Just let the quiet have its time. The coat beside mine is a wordless sign. No hurry, not tonight. We start with easy words about the rain. He says his knees are not what they once were. I tell him I have barely slept this week. He pulls the bench away from the cold draft, then nods toward my shoelace come undone. Small things the way men say, I heard you. Nothing is solved, the week is still the week. The rain will meet us when we step outside. But one long day can rest a little lighter with someone near who does not ask for more. The coat beside mine is drying at the sleeve. We have said as much as either of us will. I did not have to make the day sound fine. He never asked me to. Tomorrow I will lay my coat beside another's. No hurry, not tonight.
Worn soles and new heels on the same steel, each pair keeping its own kind of time. The rail hums with the traffic underneath. Bus roofs slide below in patient rows. 10 steps from one back to the next. No one calls ahead and no one waits. Then halfway out across the span, one stride shortens, one reaches out, and the gaps begin to give. The step between us, that's all it is. Not a promise, just a change of pace. You slow a little, I reach a little, and 10 steps quietly become one. No one is counting out the time, no one has to match another stride. We close the step between us till the bridge sounds like one crossing. The crosswalk countdown blinks at the far end. One of us slows where the wind cuts through. His coat kicks up and snaps against the rail. The man behind him eases off his pace. And just like that, the rhythm rearranges. Not slower, exactly, shorter on the steel. Below, the city runs on its own clock. Brake lights and horns, 1,000 separate hurries. Up here the only sound worth keeping time to is footsteps choosing to arrive together. The step between us, that's all it took. Not a promise, just a change of pace. The quickest of us gave some ground away. The tired man found more ground than he had hoped. No one is counting out the time, and no one's drifting out the back. We close the step between us, and the far side came to meet our shoes. One sound of shoes on steel, no distance left to cross. We watched him square the papers on his knee, the edges trembling more than his face did. The hall was lined with folding chairs and coats, and nobody knew what was coming next. He set one hand against the seat in front and rose the way a tired man decides. No one told us what the moment asked, but a chair scraped somewhere near the back. When the room stands up, it isn't loud, it barely makes a sound. Just coats settling, chair legs on the floor, and every eye now level with his own. Nobody claps, nobody says a word, just people rising right where they are. When the room stands up, he turns and finds the whole hall on its feet. The old man in the third row takes his time, one palm flat on a folding chair for balance. A younger one is up before he thinks. Another rises slowly, still unsure. Not all of us could say why we stood, but no one could have stayed down on his own. There is a sound a room makes, rising, chair legs and coats and papers set aside. And there's a change you feel more than you see. No one looks up or down at anyone. When the room stands up, the hard thing waiting doesn't go away. The papers in his hand still say the same, but he will say it to a standing hall. Nobody claps, nobody says a word. We only
race ahead with all of us behind him. The tape is giving at the nearest corner. I take the box the way I take most things, alone and at a bad angle. The door frame knocks my knuckles going through. The cardboard edge cuts into both my palms. First flight, and I am rationing my breath. The stair rail's there, but both my hands are full. So I lean my shoulder where the wall is cool. The weight changes hands, not lifted, not put down, just held anew. More palms than mine beneath the load. A better grip below the sagging seam. The stairs are just as steep as they were, but breath comes back between the landings now. The weight changes hands, and what I owned alone we carry. Someone slides his fingers under the low corner and takes the worst of it without a word. Another's gone ahead to hold the landing door. The landing light hums on above his shoulder. My grip shifts from clenched to simply holding, and my shoulders drop an inch I hadn't known. Weigh it on any scale, it hasn't changed. The box is still the box, the stairs still climb. What's different is the way that it is carried, passed and steadied, hand to hand to hand. The weight changes hands, not lifted, not put down, just held together. We take the turns the narrow stairwell gives. We trade the corners when a grip wears thin. The top floor isn't near, but it will come. One landing, one caught breath at a time. The weight changes hands, and every pair of palms gets time to rest. My footsteps reach the far wall before I do. High ceiling, wooden walls, one music stand. I set a phrase out on the empty air, 4 notes no louder than I'd speak them. Then nothing, just the room holding its size, and me holding my breath at this end. A phrase alone is only half a thing. It travels and it waits. Answer across the hall. I don't need it perfect, don't need it soon. Send back anything that says you heard, in your own voice, at your own pace. The distance isn't empty anymore. It's strung between us like a held-out line. Answer across the hall, and no end of this room is far. I caught your 4 notes at the open doorway. They crossed the floor and landed in my chest. I send them back, but bent the way I've lived them, a little lower, worn along one edge. Not an echo, an answer with my grain in it. So you will know your phrase was truly heard. There is a gap between the call and answer, half a second wide as the whole floor. The high ceiling holds the echo up, while someone at the far end chooses sound. Answer across the hall. Now the phrase is crossing the middle of the room. Your voice and mine not matching, meeting, each with its own grain, its own worn edge. The room that held us at a distance now carries every word both ways. Answer across the hall, till distance is only what carries the sound. Call once, this hall will answer. The chairs go up in stacks of 4 and 5. A key ring jingles at the front desk drawer. Rain starts its small talk on the glass outside. We trade the easy lines, the game, the roads. Zip up, check phones, agree the week was long, and keep the rest where we have always kept it. But no one's reaching for the handle yet. The exit sign can wait another minute. Before the doors are closed, say the thing you'd only say to the windshield. Say it plain and say it small. It doesn't need to be announced. We're still here, coats on, going nowhere fast. The rain is buying us a little time. Before the doors are closed, let one true sentence make it out. Then one of us stops, his coat half buttoned, and says it to the floor more than to us. It's been a harder year than I let on. The zippers pause, one chair stays half raised. Nobody rushes in to fill the gap. We We set our bags back down along the wall. Well, no one has a fix worth interrupting for. Nobody says at least, or you should try. We only stand there facing him unhurried, which turns out to be what the sentence needed. Before the doors are closed, one true sentence made it out tonight. It didn't fix the year, it wasn't meant to. It only needed somewhere safe to land. Now the keys can turn, the last chairs can go up. We'll head out to the rain in no great hurry. Before the doors are closed, what he would have carried home got said and heard. The exit sign can hum a minute longer before the doors are closed. We could turn left at the corner and be home in 7 minutes. But the street is quiet now, and no one says we have to hurry. Your hands are deep inside your coat, mine are folded in my sleeves. We let the traffic light change twice before we cross beneath the trees. Some talks need a little walking, some rooms need open air. We take the long way home, not because the night is easy. We take the long way home because the road gives us time. Step by step the words come slower, breath by breath the silence turns. We take the long way home, and something in us learns. Tell me what you almost said back when the table went quiet. I tell you how I missed the chance to answer without hiding. A bus goes by with empty seats, a bakery shuts its light. We keep one more block between us and the door we know is mine. Nothing has to be repaired tonight, no promise has to hold. But every step beside someone can make the evening less alone. We take the long way home, not because the night is easy. We take the long way home because the road gives us time. Step by step the words come slower, breath by breath the silence turns. We take the long way home, and something in us learns. first time, then counted who returned. The coffee cooled beside the forms, the radiator burned. But every name from last time is here again tonight. Not loudly, not as proof of much, just gathered in the light. Some people stay by speaking, some stay by taking time. The measure of staying is counted one return at a time. The measure of staying is quieter than a sign. Not in the grand words after all, not in the speeches made, but in the chair pulled out again, and the hand that chooses to remain. One man brings the folding table, one man checks the door, another sets the paper cups where they were set before. No one calls it courage, no one asks for praise, but something in the room grows strong when the same hearts find their place. We do not always know the cost of showing up again, but every quiet returned hello makes room for someone then. The measure of staying is counted one return at a time. The measure of staying is quieter than a sign. Not in the grand words after all, not in the speeches made, but in the chair pulled out again, and the hand that chooses to remain. The chairs fold flat with their familiar clap and stack against the wall in tens. The piano lid comes down without a sound. The broom makes its slow passes to the door. Someone pats his pocket for the key. The hall is almost only walls again. Leave one chair unfolded near the door where it can be seen, not for anyone we know is coming, for whoever finds this room the way we did. Late, one hand still resting on the door. Let the first thing they see say, sit. Leave one chair unfolded. A room's not closed while one seat's open. The evening's still here if you look closely. 2 cups by the sink, a folded program, the floor worn smooth just where we always stand. We set the open chair a little forward, angled toward the door, easy to reach. Then check it like you'd check a window latch. We each sat down in that chair once ourselves. Someone shifted and the room made space. And making room, it turns out, isn't losing. The ones who moved were never smaller for it. Leave one chair unfolded. Turn the key, but leave the seat in view. We were strangers at this door once, and the room was ready, so are we. Whoever comes will come on some hard evening and find one thing already answered. Sit. Leave one chair unfolded. That's how a room like this goes on. Key turned, floor swept, night done. One chair open by the door.